I live in a really busy city in India where life doesn't stop no matter the hour. It was a cold winter evening and I was at my desk, sipping coffee, lost in my own world. My mum called out and asked me to get some medicine for her. Being the procrastinator that I am, I pushed it off and told her I'd go later. Time flew by and soon it was 11 p.m. The streets were quiet, with the kind of eerie calm that only comes late at night. I grabbed my jacket, my bike keys, and headed out to the medical store nearby. After picking up the medicine, I felt the urge to go for a late-night ride, something I often do to clear my head. There's a small bridge not too far from my place, surrounded by big trees and shadowed by tall buildings in the distance. The bridge has a kind of haunting beauty to it, especially at night. Beneath it runs a dam, and when it's open, the rushing water creates a mesmerizing vibe. Here's where things get unsettling. In India, we don't bury the dead, we cremate them. And this bridge has 4 cremation sites around it, 2 at either end of the bridge. I didn't think much of it. I'm not superstitious, and honestly, I never believed in ghosts or anything of that nature. It was midnight when I arrived. I parked my bike near the start of the bridge, lit a cigarette, and put on some music. The cold breeze whispered through the trees, and the distant sound of water made the setting almost surreal. At the far end of the bridge, I noticed a fire burning. A body was being cremated. I decided to stay where I was and not disturb the rituals. An hour passed, and I felt it was time to head home. But to do that, I'd have to pass the cremation site. I started my bike and began riding slowly. The closer I got, the more aware I became of the burning fire. And then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw it, a shadow. At first I thought it was a trick of the light, but as I got closer, the shadow became clearer. It was a man, squatting right next to the burning stack of fire. I slowed down to get a better look, and what I saw still haunts me to this day. He was scratching his head violently, almost like he was trying to tear his scalp off. His movements were frantic, jerky, and unnatural. His hair was catching on fire, but he didn't seem to care. Instead, he rocked back and forth, making these weird, animalistic sounds. My heart froze. Every instinct screamed at me to leave, but my body wouldn't move. Then, he turned. In a flash, faster than anything I've ever seen, he snapped his head toward me. I'll never forget the sound, a sharp snap, like static electricity. His face was illuminated by the flames, and his eyes were hollow, empty pits that seemed to swallow the light around them. I don't know how, but I managed to kill my headlights and twist the throttle, desperate to get away without drawing his attention. But as I passed him, I felt a cold, piercing gaze, as if he was looking straight into my soul. I didn't dare to look back. My hands trembled, my body was drenched in sweat despite the cold, and I rode faster than I ever have, praying he wouldn't follow. When I reached home, I locked every door and window. My heart was still pounding in my chest at this point. That night, I couldn't sleep. The next morning, I woke up with a high fever that lasted for 2 days. When I finally gathered the courage to visit the bridge in daylight, there was nothing. No signs of anyone, no evidence of what I'd seen. To this day, I don't know if it was a ghost, a hallucination, or something else entirely. But one thing is certain, I'll never go near that bridge at night again.